Welcome to Unlocking Freedom in Nature and Art. And I'm excited that you're here. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here. And if you're watching later, we're excited that you're here as well. And I want to introduce our next guest. We're welcoming him back, Michael Pope, right?
Hey,
We're
Tammy.
excited to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
And Michael, where are you coming from?
I am connecting from Fairfield, Ohio, which is a little north of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, awesome. And Michael's been here. How many times? You've been on our
I believe
guest.
this is the third.
I was thinking it was either the third or fourth because you even came and did a Canva special for us.
Yeah, that's true.
And Michael is one of our featured guests on our website, unlockingfreedominnature.com. So you can go there and click on his YouTube links to watch other videos as well. And I'm just excited to have you here, Michael. And since we have a lot of new followers, I would love for you to start off with kind of your story growing up, and everything that's kind of led to where you are today.
Absolutely. So, story growing up, that's a whole lot, right? Growing up, natural introvert. So my background is in information technology. So for the last 30 years, I've worked as a software developer for a large manufacturing company. But I grew up very introverted, shy, and the type of person, Tammy, who would never speak up. I wouldn't speak up in meetings, even when I had great ideas. I'm a natural problem solver. And so I would hear these ideas, but I just wouldn't speak up due to hesitation, due to fear of what people thought and all of that. But fast forward back in 2019, after I overcame my fear of public speaking and all that, 2019, I joined the John Maxwell team, now Maxwell Leadership, become a certified speaker, trainer, and coach. Started working with that organization. Also started working with the Neuroencoding Institute in 2021. And so that's really where my entrepreneur career really took off. And so today I'm an international speaker, coach, and trainer, and I help high achievers stop hesitating and take bold action.
That's awesome. And I understand, and I think people don't realize I'm kind of an introvert too. I actually don't like speaking on camera at
Really?
all. Yeah.
Wow.
I just,
So I commend you on starting a show, right? So like that's one of the best ways to get over it is by taking action. And you took an action with a consistent show every single Tuesday, constantly going
yeah.
like it forced you to get over it.
It does, and I have no problem speaking in small groups because everybody's like, oh, you talk to everybody, right? And I stand and listen a lot because I'd rather just listen, because you can learn so much more about a person. And I'm like you said, in action. My coaches insisted that I start a Facebook podcast, a live. They were like, oh, you should do it. And so I took action after I wrote
Love
my
that.
book and stuff. And it's been amazing. I miss my partner, Lori. She's doing her own thing now. So that's different. But I'm here.
Yes, you
In
are.
having great guests like you makes it so much easier.
Oh,
But
thank
I
you.
know there's a lot of people out there. That are introverts that are public speakers like you.
Yeah, it's amazing how once I started hanging around other public speakers, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm an introvert too. I'm an introvert too." And one of the things I found out is that I think a lot of introverts end up becoming public speakers because when you're speaking from stage, right, when you're holding that microphone up, the audience is listening to you, which as an introvert, a lot of times it's hard to get words in. And when you're in crowds and all that, however, when you're the speaker, people are listening. So it makes it a little bit easier.
That's funny. When you were growing up, what made you decide to to get into the IT tech?
In IT? Yeah,
Yeah.
so for me, back when I was in, I believe, the sixth or seventh grade, my mom had purchased me my first computer. It was a Commodore 64. And this is back many years ago when we didn't actually have physical hard drives. So every day I would have to type in like the game that I wanted to play. I'd type the code in, play the game. Then at night I had to turn the computer off and all that. And I wrote my first computer program. So once I started playing these games, I had an idea for one. So I wrote one and I submitted it to a magazine. It was the Commodore Gazette magazine. And Tammy, they actually sent me back a check for $300, and they took my game and put it in their magazine to make it available
Awesome.
for other readers. And I was like, wow. I mean, seventh grade, $300. I felt like $1 million, and I was like, wow, I can actually make money doing something like this, like designing games. And so that's where my interest
Congratulations.
started. Yeah, thank you. Right. So it's like that's where my interest started. And I started learning about computer science at an early age. So in high school, I took computer science courses. Then naturally in college, I majored in computer science because I knew exactly what I wanted to do.
It's amazing when those little opportunities come by, whether we take it on or not, actually help boost our self-esteem because especially in junior high or high school, it's kind of like when I think I was 16 or 17. I actually got accepted 'cause I won a contest drawing pictures for
Mm.
Disney. And they actually flew clear out and said, "Hey, we'd love you to work for Disney."
Oh,
And of course, some stuff I'm not going to go into all of that happened, but it always was there. Just knowing that I was accepted boosts my like, oh, I guess I
yeah.
am an artist, even though I'd been getting paid since I was like 14 for doing art cartoons, but that actually made me feel better.
Absolutely, right? You get that stamp of approval from a big company like Disney in your case. I mean, that's cool.
So, and then what led you? So you're doing all your IT stuff, and then how did you find John Maxwell? What led you there?
Yeah, so I started probably in 1997. I started my journey of personal development. But like I mentioned, I grew up introverted, low self-esteem and all that. And a mentor introduced me to the world of personal development through books. And so I started reading these personal development books. And then I also started attending conferences. And so that's where I heard John Maxwell speak for the first time. He was on stage. He delivered an amazing talk talking about leadership. And he John Maxwell taught me that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, which meant that like my whole life growing up, Tammy, I never saw myself as a leader because I thought leadership was based on a title. And even the people that I grew up around some very hardworking individuals, honest people, but I never considered them as a leader because of their title, right? Their title might have been, janitor over here or groundskeeper over there, right? But I never saw them as leadership type qualities until I listened to John Maxwell. He started talking about really what true leadership was.
That's
And then,
awesome.
and John's first book that I read was Developing the Leader Within You. So I read that book and I learned more about leadership and I started following him. And then years later, an opportunity presented itself for me to actually join the John Maxwell team. So timing was perfect for me. I talked to my wife about it. And we said, hey, well, if you're going to do this, you've got to make it work, right? So it's like, no, we're not just going to invest money and throw it away. If you're going to do it, make it work. So in 2019, November 2019, I joined the Maxwell leadership team. And then, of course, COVID hit. And so that changed things. And really, for me, Tammy, that's when my IT background really showed up because I knew how to do this virtual environment really well, right? I knew how to use Zoom and other technology. So it actually opened up doors for me with Maxwell Leadership to help the other coaches and speakers use technology to grow their businesses. So that opened up doors
Oh,
of amazing opportunity for me. And I'm thankful that I said yes.
well, I'll vouch for that because I know you've showed me some different little tricks for with Zoom, with Canva, especially, which we'll talk about here later.
Yeah,
That has helped me tremendously, and I appreciate it.
no, you're welcome.
And I love what you said about leaders. It doesn't matter what your career is. We're all meant to be leaders. It's like I remember, I think was it Sean Groves? He's a musician, he's a singer, and he started out as a janitor. That's what he did part time, full time, and then did his singing else, on time. If you look at a lot of the famous musicians and stuff, which I've been blessed and met a few of them, they all had full-time jobs. But then you
Hmm.
look at them now today, they're leaders. It's like you should always respect the janitor just as much as a president or a king. It doesn't matter who they are, and
Yes.
I love the quote right behind you. They
Mhm.
may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I learned that at an early age as well. And because a lot of my family members were blue collar workers, right? So I got used to interacting with really everyone. And so, like you said, I would speak to the janitor because I had relatives who did that type of service. I would speak to the cashier and other people. Even as a natural introvert, I would still at least be respectful and nice to those individuals. Maybe not really engaging them in conversation as an introvert. However, I still learned to appreciate everyone that I dealt with. It's so
Yeah,
important.
and I was the same growing up the same way. It's like my grandparents were ranchers and stuff, and we were a farm. I mean, I still go and garden myself, but it's like you should always treat people with kindness and compassion, and to treat them the way you would want to be treated.
Absolutely.
Well, of
Absolutely.
course, I actually even go further, treat them the way Jesus would want you to treat them.
Yes. Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
sometimes we don't know how valuable we are, and so we let people walk all over us, right?
Yeah.
At
I know one of the
times.
things John Maxwell taught us is that you should stamp a 10 on everyone's forehead, right? Allow that person to maybe decrease that number, but when you're first meeting someone, see them as a 10. And so you're treating them, so I would treat them with respect, treat them like they're an honest individual and with love and caring and all that. Patience. It's important.
It is. And sometimes, and then ask God for discernment to show you if there's something you should be aware of. If you have that gut feeling,
Yes,
be aware, correct?
absolutely. Listen to it.
So, no, so you are a family man. You have two boys, correct?
Yeah, my wife and I have three sons, an
Oh, three. Sorry.
18-year-old, 17, and 13. Yep.
Okay. And you guys have been married how long now? 20,
Ooh, 28 years.
28
Thank
years. So it's like congratulations on that.
you. Thank you.
So I'm excited because I want to talk about your book. That's kind of where we had left off because Michael was saying the quote about talking about doers and
Yes.
taking action last time you were on our show. And then you went and wrote this book, which I'm so excited to share and talk about.
Yes, Doers Win the Day is the title. And you saw right, Tammy. So back in 2022, I gave my first Doer talk, which similar concepts to this book, but that's really where Doer was born. And I started giving variations of that talk, either on podcasts or on different stages about being a doer. And then finally, it dawned on me that I really need to put it in a book to help more people out. And so I'm thankful that I was able to do that. I've had great reviews from this book. People love it, the how practical it is, the application steps that are in the book to really help people break free from that hesitation. Because a lot of people
Right.
don't realize is that fear isn't really the thing that really costs people a lot of opportunities. It's typically hesitation. It's those moments of you're deciding, hey, should I do this? Should I not do it? And then that opportunity passes you by. And for many of us, those moments never come back. Right. And so, and I talk about that a lot in the book, Doers Win the Day.
Right. And like when we were talking about earlier before the podcast, I was like, I take action. I had, I'll just put it this way. I had family members that procrastinated a lot,
Mm,
or they'd always have an excuse. How often, to me, it almost becomes a bad habit.
yes. Yes.
So
That's
how
the
would you
E
explain that?
endure, right? So the E endure is all about eliminate excuses or distractions. And for a lot of people, they're quick to give you an excuse right away, right? You ask them something, they give you an excuse. Oh, I didn't do this because of this. Like, no, no, I'm not asking for the excuse, right? Let's set the excuse aside and let's talk about what needs to happen in order for you to do that, right? Because a lot of times those excuses are just stories that we're telling ourselves. Like I should make that phone call because that person is going to say no if I ask them to be on my podcast, right? It's like those are just excuses, or really just stories that we're telling ourselves, and we just have to learn how to eliminate those excuses. And in the book, I talk about a few strategies of eliminating those excuses because it's so important. And once you get to a point in your life where you're no longer letting excuses control your decisions, and you're thinking more about the actual outcomes, or okay, what is my desired outcome in this situation? And focusing on that, it just opens up possibilities for you because you start thinking more solution minded versus excuse minded.
So yeah, well, it was funny is I was thinking about this when I was on my walk this last week. It's like how many people, let's take example, exercise, eating. How many people will watch videos of other people exercising? Will
Guilty.
talk about how they're going to exercise, talk about the hiking they're going to do, or what hikes they're going to go on, or bike rides, or they're going to go running, they're going to do this and that, but they never take action.
Yes. Yes. Yep. And we're all
And if you don't take action, how are you going to ever get fit?
yeah, exactly, right. But we're all guilty of doing that. And in some cases, it's okay, right? Because there's some things that it's not truly your desire to do, and so it's okay because we're not going to be able to do everything, even if it looks amazing. Some things are just not going to be for us, right? I see someone do some skydiving, like it looks amazing. I can watch it all day, but doing it, I have no desire.
Right. But yes, I totally get that because when I was younger, I wanted to do skydiving, but after a head injury, my balance isn't always as perfect. And
Mm,
so I was like, I get at times I don't know, it's like anxiety will hit me, it's on the high spots, even though, I mean, I've been on a roof, I've been on high cliffs, but there's times when it's just like, no,
yes, and you got to listen to that, right?
you do, it's like, and some people laugh at me because like, like when I was doing that 22-foot wall piece, had to be on a lift. And when you're up that high and the machine's kind of going like this, it's like, okay. So I had to make myself almost go up and down like 10 times before I was felt comfortable, you
Mm,
know? So it's just that feeling. So there's always that. And I understand that. I'm talking about the person that is it procrastination? Is it being lazy or is it excuses? And sometimes, I understand if you are hurt, you
mhm.
know, but then there's always, okay, to me, it's like, it's a challenge, kind of like what nature provides us is like when I was walking down the path and like there was a tree had fallen across the path. So it's like, do I walk around it? Do I stop and turn back? Or do I go over it? Of course I went over it because it was low enough. So,
Yeah. Yep. Right. We all have those decision points. And sometimes, like you mentioned, like sometimes it's procrastination, sometimes it's laziness, sometimes it's truly just hesitation. And hesitation can be disguised in thinking, oh, I need more preparation, right? Like I'm not gonna launch my podcast yet. I'm not afraid to launch the podcast. I'm not procrastinating. I'm just not ready. And so a lot of times we label ourselves as saying, okay, we're not ready or we're not prepared enough, or I need more education. So we'll go and research and get busy. So we'll fill our schedules up with like learning more versus actually doing. And so that stops people sometimes.
well,
And one
and
of
I
my
understand, and
mentors,
I understand that because I'm a perfectionist, to be honest,
yeah, me too. I'm a recovering
and
perfectionist.
yeah, because I want everything to look decent or good. It doesn't have to be totally perfect, but it can't be a mess or a slob. And that's
Yes,
just because that's always how I've wanted to present anything. And maybe that's how, because of all my training, or whatever. It's like kind of like for dress. And it's like I was laughing because I was writing up some of my real scripts and stuff. And I'm one of those, if you call me, I have to make sure my teeth are brushed and my hair's brushed
on the phone.
on the phone. And
But that's
it's
good. You
not
got
like you're
certain
gonna,
standards for yourself, right? It's like
it is. But then, you start thinking about it. And maybe this is because I used to when I was modeling and I do style and image on the side. I did it. That's what my training is in. So I still do it occasionally for people. And so everybody you might see Northwest Style and Image occasionally, because I've trained with some of the best in the world on it. Just to learn. And I mean, I studied 6 months on just color.
mm,
But when you do that, what you learn is is when you get up and you take the time to brush your teeth, brush your hair, and put clothes on, don't just stay in your pajamas. You find that I don't know, you're more active, you produce more.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It does, because you've changed your identity, right? So like your identity switched from being someone who just casual, hanging around, not really dressed well, versus someone whose identity is you're dressed professional, you're ready, right? Regardless of whether they're able to see you or not, you and mentally in your mind, you're ready. So if they said, "Hey, turn your camera on," right? You're ready in that scenario. But it just you change your identity, which boosts your confidence.
Yeah, because so it doesn't even matter if I'm even on a hiking trail. I want to make sure my hair's at least tied back and I look decent, because
Yeah,
you never know who you're going to run into. Even if it's
exactly.
just shopping at Costco or Home Depot or something. I don't know how many times I've ran into clients even or people that I know or even don't know, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm in our, what's your number and stuff." But I always want to be presentable, at least clean.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Because what here in North Idaho is so different than when because we lived down in Eugene, Oregon, the Willamette Valley and city, and so we did stuff in Portland, Oregon, and Seattle and Eugene. It's kind of city stuff for 13 years, even though on the weekends we were always like camping, backpacking, and going to the coast or outdoor stuff. But you come up here, and even the movie producers will be dressed casual. But it's okay to dress casual. It's just how you dress.
Yeah.
You
You
don't
can still
have
be
to,
clean and casual, right? So
and
yeah.
you're not a total slob. You're not wearing pajamas
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
otherwise, what I find is kind of like with my art, and I'm sure you'll see this too, is I always dress professionally with my art. And a lot of people think artists are hippies, gypsies,
Mm,
dress like slobs, right? But if you want to sell high-end art, you have to dress the part.
makes sense.
Your clients want to see that. They don't want to see you as a slob,
Yeah.
you know,
Because if they want to take a
and
picture with you in the art, they want you looking nice, right? If they want to be able to say, "Hey, this is who I'm getting art from," and you look nice, they're like, "Okay, yeah."
they want to
Versus,
take you seriously, If you want people to
mhm,
take you seriously, dress for it, dress and it can be in your own style. And I think sometimes like, oh, I'm like real free will or whatever. It's like, yeah, I'm all for doing your own thing, but learn how to style, it's learn to come up with a style that's presentable. And especially if you want clients, if you want to get paid $5 for an art piece or $100, that's one thing. But if you really want to up the game, you need to learn
absolutely,
your
absolutely.
style. And I know, like with public speaking, if you went on stage dressed in pajamas, nobody's gonna take you seriously,
Yeah,
or they'd
some
be
bowler
going,
jeans, they can be like,
or they're gonna be sitting there going, "Okay, what happened to Michael? Is this some kind of part of the speaking engagement?"
yeah, exactly, right. Because I'm representing myself, but also the person who hired me to speak, and so you've got to be presentable,
Yeah,
regardless of where you
so
are.
I'm looking behind at your magazine Voices with Les Brown. I
Ah,
had the honor of working with Les too, backstage, just, and meeting him and his assistant and stuff. And what did you learn from Les? Because no, but a lot of people probably don't even know who Les is.
yeah, Les Brown, amazing motivational speaker. So growing up, Les was probably one of the only Black speakers that I saw on television, right? Back years, he started years ago. And so it's so great to see that he's still active. He's 80 years old, I think 80 or 81 now, but still active in what he does. And I had an opportunity to share the stage with Les back in, I think it was in April. April, we were down in Atlanta, Georgia. And I spoke on the same stage as Les. We actually had a small lunch together, which was pretty cool. He recorded a video for me. We took pictures. But one of the things I learned from Les is really the importance of telling stories. He is a master storyteller. He's also a master at pulling quotes and being able to use those quotes in his presentations. powerful, powerful man, but he's so down to earth. It was so great meeting him because some people you meet that are famous, they're not just like like they're not the same when you actually meet them up close and closed doors. But being able to see him and how he interacts and his fun personality is like it was a really cool experience.
That's the one thing I love about when I've gotten to meet, different speakers. I was at an event that with Les and met all these other speakers from all over the world and well known, and they were so down to earth.
Hmm.
Or I've been with movie producers and actors and actresses and singers, and they just want to be treated like a normal person.
Yes.
And what was funny is my coaches made me get photos with all the speakers down there because I've always been so low key that I never get photos because I want them to feel at home too, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not there just for photo purposes. I'm there to actually get to know
Get to
them
know
because
them.
I love getting to know them. It's like I've had, famous singers in my car before, taking them shopping, like Mark and Melanie Hall from Casting Crowns or Amy Grant,
Oh wow. Mhm.
Michael W. Smith, it's like those special moments. And those are just a few, but I got to know them as people, and so you don't always take photos, but yet in our business world, you want to show that, oh, actually, I was there.
Yeah, and we have to, right? We have to do that self-promotion part in order for people to know what we do. It's important. Like even for me, natural introvert, someone who didn't really like having the spotlight, I had to learn as an entrepreneur, if I don't tell people what I'm doing, they're not going to know, right? If somebody's looking to hire a speaker, they don't see evidence of me speaking through video posts and other type of posts, then they're going to pick someone else. So it's like it's my responsibility to let people know what I do. The same with you, right? You got to let people know what you do with your art.
Oh, they do. And that's why every business card actually has an art piece on it
Good.
because words do not speak. Because you can say, oh, I'm an artist. You know how many people say that
Yeah.
and they're not an artist?
Hmm.
If you want somebody to see what you are about, you need to put that on your business card, or in your name or someplace. It's
Yes.
also was like some of the people that have my clients that have hired me. The other thing they look for is how long have you been there? And I found as an artist, if you want to get decent prices, you've got to have a website for at least 3 years.
I can believe it. But they want to see some longevity that, hey, they're not just using, she's not just using AI to generate some art and,
Oh no.
try to pass it on, right?
Yeah, like you said, AI is great. I mean, I use chat all the time to help me write or come up with ideas. And then you have to go back and do it in your own voice and stuff.
Yep, you got to
But
use the
it's
HI, human intelligence for sure.
right. But it does help give ideas,
Yes.
It's kind of like our assistants, right? When
Hmm.
you're so busy or, doing different projects because like Michael, and you're the same way, I'm sure. You're always learning. You're always learning something new. I'm constantly learning new techniques, new things, keeping updated, and that takes time.
Hmm. Absolutely. Right. You got to, I'm a continuous student. I mean, lifelong learner for sure.
And I know a lot of our audience doesn't realize this, but Michael is a Canva expert as well.
Yes, I love Canva. I'm a Canvassador. I've had opportunity to attend two of the Canva Lives, the last two Canva Lives in LA. So that's been a great experience. I also get access to some beta features in Canva and some special training there. So that's good. I don't do as much with Canva as I used to, but I still have access to it and stay around it.
Well, I know you taught us quite a bit, and then Canva's changed so much in just the last month.
Yeah, they're constantly adding more and more AI and doing because it's such a competitive marketplace, especially when it comes to AI. With there's people who are using AI to create their designs versus going into Canva and manually doing them, and so they've got to be competitive, right? So they got to keep up in their game as well.
Right. And I'm one of those, I always try to throw in my own photos or my own artwork
Yeah.
into even AI stuff because I want it to be mine. I don't want it to be somebody else's work.
Yes, yes, I agree.
So, Michael, any other thing you would like to share with us? I was going to say hi to Pam. I saw that she was here. I know there's like different people watching. Let me look at the comments here.
So
Uh,
welcome everyone if you watch this live.
yeah, they are. And let me get, you know how stuff shows, but it doesn't show sometimes.
Yes.
Because for some reason, I'm not getting anybody's questions over there.
Yeah, Facebook does that. I've noticed that. Like sometimes they don't, like you'll see that there's a number of comments, but they won't always show you the comment. Yeah, I don't know why
Yes.
Facebook does that.
And I want to say hi to Margaret, who has been going through cancer treatments,
Oh,
and Andrea. Welcome and thanks for watching. I know
yes.
it was like it was so funny because like it might show like three or four people are watching, and we could have actually like 100 people watching. You know, so it is so weird when you look at it on all the different forums.
Yes, yes. Absolutely.
So if you guys have any questions, please ask Michael.
Yeah, and I encourage your viewers, I mean, they can go to doerswintheday.com if they want to get a down if they want to download a free chapter from Doers Win the Day to learn more about that book and there's some other resources on there as well that you
So
can learn
what
about.
led you to write this book?
Yeah, so it was just because I was speaking so much about it, I was like, I need to actually put it down on paper in a book format. And so that's why I did it. And so for me, learning the principles that I talk about in here. So really what I do is I talk about more like 10 mistakes that people have when it comes to hesitation and how to break free from that. And I dealt with most of these in here and I share stories about that. But I've dealt with it personally. Moments where I've hesitated, where that I wish I hadn't hesitated, and moments that I can never get back. So I talk about that in the book, and I just wanted to help more people out. Like one of the things you mentioned recently, Tammy, you talked about multitasking, right? So how like you right you're a doer and you got so many different things to do, and in the book in chapter 2, I talk about the multitasking trap, why less truly is more. Um, and so the mistake that a lot of people make is trying to change everything at once through multitasking. And so a lot of people do that, right? You attend a seminar or you read a book and it's got like 10 things to do, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do these 10 things, and you just like you're busy now and you're feeling productive, but you're not really accomplishing anything because you're trying to do too much.
Oh,
And so the
I
book,
totally get there's some days when you're
yeah,
like, what did I get done today? So I make a list of
which is,
what top three things I want done.
yeah, which is good. That's one thing I talk about in the book. I talk about how like for me is if I want to win the day, right? Planning that night before, okay, what are the 3 things that I want to accomplish tomorrow? There may be 10 things on my list, but what are the 3 things that if I accomplish these 3 things, I'm going to feel like I won the day, right? So having that list of those top 3, like you mentioned, is very important. And then learning how to focus on one thing at a time. You can't do as much as we like to try to multitask. Really, your attention can only be on one thing at a time. So focus on that one thing, even if it's for 15 minutes, and then go to the next thing versus trying to go back and forth and then you're all over the place, right? Just
Sometimes
focus
I
in.
admit I'm working on one reel and working on something else because like the computer's uploading so slow or something.
Yes, but so that's different though, right? So it's like you did it, you
I
upload it. That's that one thing, right? While that's uploaded, you can go focus. You can give your attention to something else while it's waiting, right? So that's acceptable.
So, but yes, I understand. If I didn't have a list, I always look at it as like, okay, first, yeah, I have to start off with prayer because if I don't do that and listen to some music, just or
You get
exercise or
yourself
do
grounded.
something to get myself grounded for the morning, and it's like it has to be something positive
Hmm.
because if you turn on the news or you're listening to something negative, how can you start your day?
Yeah, I can
You
imagine.
you know, it's like it has to be positive or going on a nature walk or just breathing some fresh air or opening a window or whatever. But to me, that helps to ground. us before we even start on any project at
Yes.
all. So I love it. I love how those tips and stuff. Now, Pam made a comment. Finding our own value is so much harder than seeing value in others.
Mm, yeah. So I think that's something that we all need to work on, right? I know for me, I grew up with a very bad self-image, right? Poor self-image. And so I had to learn how to see the value in me. And what I started doing was, for me as a Christian, obviously I looked in the Bible. And so I had a bunch of scriptures like your identity in Christ that I went through those. That really helped me out early on. And then also I started writing lists of attributes about me, like we're really recreating my identity of who I am. And I use affirmations even today. So one of the things that we do as a family of five is that we have affirmations that we repeat every single night. Most nights. We might miss once, twice, but more than likely every single night we're doing, like, as part of our devotionals and our we have affirmations as well that we do, but we're constantly reinforcing who we are, right? That image of Christ that's in us.
So how do you do your affirmations? I'm curious.
Yeah. So one of the things that we do is we have a so one of our affirmations is in it is a declaration that we got from our church many years ago. So in 2025, I declare that I am saved, I am healed. And so there's a bunch that we go through like that we're repeating on a daily basis. So we'll do something like that. But in terms of my regular affirmations, my favorite way to do it is looking eye to eye in the mirror, where I'm looking at myself eye to eye in the mirror, right? Completely accepting myself and looking and saying, Michael, I love you. You are amazing. Today is going to be an amazing day. You're going to do some wonderful things today. You're going to add value today. But I'm saying those type of affirmations to myself and just looking at myself with complete acceptance of myself. Sometimes, right, it's, not to paint the wrong picture or whatever, but sometimes it's right after I get out of the shower or something and looking in the mirror and completely accepting my body. Because a lot of people that I found out is a lot of people don't really truly look at themselves and appreciate themselves. Like they look at themselves in the mirror and they're saying, "Oh, I've gained weight here, or I've got wrinkles there, or I don't look the same as I did 20 years ago." Like they start downplaying themselves versus truly accepting them and like, okay, God created you for a reason, right? And this is truly just accepting yourself. I think it's so important. Tammy, I actually spoke for a local company, a local organization here in Cincinnati. And one of the exercises I had them do is I had them pull out their phone and put it in video selfie mode, looking at themselves. And they had to say, I love you, I appreciate you, thank you, and a couple other affirmations. And a couple of them teared up. And they were like, there's been years since I've actually told myself that I looked at myself eye to eye and said, I love you. Because most people don't do that.
No, that's awesome, Michael. I love that. The great ideas. And a lot of it stems back, especially if you had a childhood where you weren't, like you said, you might have been told it was messy, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
You know, I was like you, I didn't have the greatest. So I had grandparents that were great, but they were far away. But it wasn't the best. And so I had very low self-esteem. And so even when I was shopping when I got asked to model, and that was like a self-esteem booster, but I was still had to make myself go and take the class, take extra class, do extra things just
Mm.
to help myself become, because I was so introverted, to become more extroverted, you know?
Yeah, so you had to work on changing that identity in yourself.
So,
Learning new skills and all that.
right. And I want to welcome Dale and Samara.
Hey,
Welcome,
Dale.
guys.
Yeah.
Samara is so cute. I've met her in Arizona, and she's a leader as well. So she speaks on stages
Oh, awesome.
and she works with Grant Cardone and different people as well. So,
Yes, yes. Grant. Yeah, Grant's amazing. Yeah, one of my coaches spoke on his stage last year. That's amazing. Down in Vegas or whatever.
so Well, time is going by really fast, and I'm sure you have a lot to do here. But what is there anything else that you would like us to know about, or any things from your book that you want to talk more about?
Yeah. So one thing I was leave with your viewers is that just remember that life doesn't reward hesitation; it rewards action. So find out whatever you need to do, whatever you need to break free from, to be a doer, right? To take that intentional action. I know
Right.
for me, it opens up so many doors when I learn how to quickly say yes and do. It opens up doors.
Right. Well, it's like, oh, there was a time though, to be honest, when I said yes to too many things.
Mm,
I am guilty of that. I had to learn how to say no.
no. Yes. No is a complete sentence too.
Because I mean, I was so it's like we have the people that are always, oh yeah, I'll do that because it's like a friend of mine said at the church, you can always get volunteer. The best volunteers are those that are already
Doing something. Yes.
doing something
Mhm.
because they don't hesitate, they keep their commitment. And I'm one of those, if I commit to something, I'm God willing, I'm going to keep it. So I've tried to lower my commitments, even though you're committed, but it's like
So that's
I
a
don't
dangerous
commit to
trap.
something because I don't want to let anybody down.
Yeah, because that'll lead to burnout, right? Because it's like you're over committing to things, and then you're stressed out. You're accomplishing things because you're a doer, right? You're an action taker. However, at the end of the day, you're probably burnt out because
Right.
you're
Well,
doing.
I was doing 45 hours of volunteer stuff.
Whew.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yes.
And it was like, okay, Tammy, you need to say no. It's like,
Exactly.
and it's not that I don't volunteer still or do things for others, it's just I slowed it down. It's like, you know what? God first, family second.
Hmm.
I can't put everybody else there, and I have to take time for myself. And so I even schedule in my own book,
It's good.
my day calendar. Okay, here's exercise, here's nature walk, here's doing this, you
And
find you
that's so
have to do.
important.
It's kind of like you said, to take action though. Sometimes you got to write that down. And
Mhm.
I think it was Corey Minkus had said, one of my coaches, that you need to write down even five different ideas, and you just list them in order. And if you don't get it done, it just carries on over to the next day. You know what? But yet look at what is the most important thing that needs to be done that day. And yet be willing if something happens, it's okay. If you need to change it or something happens during the day, because there might be another purpose for you,
Absolutely. Give
it's like
yourself the
I was telling
grace. Yeah.
it's like, okay, it's if God throws something else or a person in my life that day, there must be a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know, like, back to what you said about saying no with volunteering, right? So the thing is like, if you identify like a set number of hours. So if I said, hey, I only volunteer, 20 hours a month or something like that, then it makes it easier to say no because if it doesn't fit in your schedule. Like I'm the same with when it comes to like free speaking. Like there's places where obviously I prefer to get paid speaking, but there's other times where I'll speak for free. However, I have a limit so that way it makes it I can easily say, hey, no, I've already given all of my quote unquote free speeches for the month. I can schedule you for next couple of months or so. But then that way I don't have to feel obligated to say yes to every single thing.
Right. I love that. So I want to say hi to Trish, Cheryl, and Jeanette. And if I'm
Hey,
missing somebody, I apologize. I can't even see on my big screen. This is looking down at my phone.
and I'll put a link in the chat, the comments to my book page as well. So if anybody wants to download that free chapter of Doers Win the Day, I think it'll definitely add value to your life for sure.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day, Michael, to be here.
You're welcome.
And if somebody has a question, just add it down here and Michael will answer it or I will answer it.
Yeah, just tag me, feel free.
So, but yeah, we appreciate it. And I also want to put this out there. If you had somebody come in, you were shared and you said, "Hey, join us," and I didn't see it, um, I will go in there and let them in. But last week I had 30 people that signed into our Facebook group. And I went to approve. I hit approve all, but not one of them showed up. I don't
Oh,
know
wow.
what Facebook did. So invite them back. Tell them it was not my fault. It was Facebook. I'm gonna blame it. Or it probably was I might have accidentally hit something wrong. I have no idea, but I hit approve all. I thought that I was doing the right thing.
Yeah, hopefully you did improve all, right? Not ignore all, right? So yeah.
Right. Yes, exactly. Because it's like that's like I'm like, huh, if there was like 34 people that I needed to approve here, I hit approve all, but it only went up one. Something was not
Yeah,
right.
yeah, Facebook gets a little and they're constantly
What's
changing too,
funny,
right? Yeah.
have you noticed it's like, okay, you would think with all the AI stuff, things would be easier, right? And more uncomplicated and more correct. But I don't see that at times.
No, because a lot of people are using like AI to answer questions and do support now, right? So it's like some things just get left.
So, somebody, Norma wants to know, I would like that chapter from Michael. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, so normally you can go to the doerswintheday.com and download the free chapter. There's actually a bonus in there with it as well. And
Awesome.
yeah, and I think I also include an affirmation in the free download as well.
Awesome. I'm so excited. So I'm going to have to take a look at your book. I was going to have my Audible book done by now, and I don't. I do
Oh,
still
you're
have
working on Audible? All
my
right.
book, right?
Yes. All right.
And I've been promoting it a little, but yes, I want to put mine on Audible. I have all the speaking stuff, the good intentions, but I have not done it yet. Because when I had the time, I had a bad cough, and you can't have a cough when you're trying to.
Let me ask you this. How long do you think it takes to read one chapter?
I'm guessing not long. You know what my plan is to do one chapter a day, record it, put it on, and then I'll have them all done, right?
Exactly, right? Yeah. Just
So
break it down.
I need,
One at a time, right?
so that is going to be my January goal to have it done by January. And I want keep me accountable.
That's right. Let's keep her accountable, guys.
I want everybody to keep me
Yeah.
accountable, asking me where it is. Now,
So
is
that means
yours
by
on?
February, you'll have your audiobook available.
So do you have yours on Audible?
I do not. I need to do the same. I've had a few
Because I
people
know when
request
I
it.
was talking to Les Brown and all these other great speakers, that was one of the things they told me is put your book on audio, Tammy. And I'm
Yes.
like, because we don't always have time to read the books,
But
we
people
want to
will
just
listen to it.
listen.
Yeah. Hmm.
And so
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
one of those things.
So that's on my list of things I need to do as well. I've got a course that I'm working on doing some recording for the rest of December. But in January I would like to do the audio
So
recording.
that's my do thing I need to do because I've been procrastinating and having lots of excuses. So I
Mm.
need to stop it and just do it.
So let me just go over the doer across real quick before we end. So the D in doer stands for discipline, right? And discipline is doing a prescribed activity no matter what, even and especially when it's difficult, right? So we have to discipline ourselves. O is for one thing, right? We can only really focus on one thing at a time. E is about eliminating excuses and distractions. And then R is taking responsibility for your attitude and your actions, which are really the only two things that you have complete control over. And so that's being a doer. I even put it on my water bottle here
Oh, I love that.
to keep myself accountable as
That's
well.
awesome.
Thank you. Design in Canva, of course, right? So this is all created in Canva.
I love it.
Actually, Canva shipped it to me in it as well. So I thought
So yeah. So yeah. Did you sell those?
I didn't sell it because I only made four.
I
So
made
my
some
wife,
for
yeah.
my grandkids last year for our carving trails, um, because they helped design the logos and everything for it.
Hmm.
And so I ordered some water bottles and stuff from Canva.
Oh,
So,
cool. Yeah.
but
Yeah, it was easy
Never,
process. Yeah, it was cool.
right. Just I know, yeah, I'm trying to find a really good print on demand service for mugs and cups and sweatshirts and t-shirts. So, but anyway, I want to thank you so much for being here, Michael.
Thank you,
Any
Trina.
last words to our audience before we close out?
Just good doer.
So, yes, be a doer. So, thank you again for watching. Thanks for being here and taking the time. I appreciate it. And thanks for when you share and invite others to our group. If we can help or answer any questions, let us know. And if there's something that you would like to see more of posted or um, what you would like, what kind of guest speakers you would love for me to bring in more, or you have a guest speaker that you think, hey, somebody you know that would be a great guest speaker, let me know. Just direct message me.
Yeah.
So
Even if it's
I,
you, right? So yeah, even if it's you as the guest speaker, nominate yourself.
yes, exactly. I love it. So, and it's like Michael, of course, I would love to have you back on. You're always fun to have, and you make the conversation so easy. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So,
I've enjoyed it.
and
It's fun.
just, I know that right now is the doer type because we're trying to get ready for Christmas. I just realized yesterday that Christmas is next week. So that tells you how far behind. I got my house decorated, but it's like, oh, it is. And I'm usually one of those that's ahead of the schedule, but not this year. So I think it's this beautiful weather that we've been having, even though we're praying for all those that are in those flooded areas or blizzard areas. You just never know what the weather's going to be. But we can control our actions and what we do.
Yes.
So be the doer. Like Michael said, take the action. So, and you guys have a wonderful week. And I'll see you next week with another amazing guest.
Yes.
Bye now.
Thank you. Have a good great day, everybody.